Greetings, good evening. Welcome to this Saturday afternoon talk on the subject of spiritual insights for overcoming addiction. And would like to just lay a bit of a overview that addiction is not just something that is known as maybe substance abuse, or it can be many forms of addiction. And some are socially acceptable forms, like working. Can be working hard, but it can be an addiction. And so others are more obvious, some are not. But all kinds of addiction, whether it's substances or behaviors, are all very harmful to our physical, mental, and spiritual well-being. And some maybe we don't realize, like overthinking or negative thought patterns. And so it's in this, when we are absolutely working from, I guess, a lower consciousness, and we lack power and repeat these patterns. So many of us who feel there's something I can't change and give up, we know what's right, but struggle to find the strength to implement what we know. So it's often observed that having some kind of faith or belief in something greater can improve well-being and also help in overcoming addiction. But it raises a question: do we actually need to believe in something or believe in spirituality to break free from these patterns, or is there something deeper? So today we want to understand this subject for ourselves and for our loved ones, and definitely it's something that is increasing and improve the quality of life for all of us. So very warm welcome, and I'm going to hand over to Dr. Prashant, who's been reflecting on ideas of this kind for many years. So welcome.
Thank you, and hello, and appreciate your interest in this subject. And in fact, as was said, this is a subject of interest for each and everyone. To some level, there is that dependency we have started, and this is with everyone. And dependency just lowers the quality of our life. That it is like becoming a slave to something. No one wants to become dependent. We want to become free, and we all know this. So it is a real issue for us how to be in this world, how to enjoy this world, and not be deceived. How to not cross that line where you are then caught in the increasing dependency, bit out of balance. This is what our real question, and this is the question of each and every one. There is no issue of guilt in this. It is not required because it is a collective problem, and there is no aspect of blame. It is a embracing something higher and greater, and it is universal. One simple principle for this is when there is emptiness inside, we want to fill that emptiness. When there is fullness inside, we are less looking for something outside. It is like a simple thing. If someone is thirsty, he will be noticing wherever there is water, he will notice that there is water on this place and there is some water here. He will notice it. If he is not thirsty, he will not even notice it. It is a bit like that. There has to be the inner emptiness, and answer to that is fullness. This is a principle. Just to share my experience with this subject, in my life and world and work, I don't come across this directly, and it is more like a psychology, psychiatry, psychotherapists, they are more in contact with these cases. But many years ago, and I'm thinking it could be 30 years ago, we had a project for Cambridge to give up smoking, and the local newspaper got a publicity on this project. It was free, and so there were hundreds who enrolled and went through that program. Something very simple, and what we were doing, and we had 2 appointments for them. And the first appointment, we would just go through their history, and the second appointment, they decide to give up. That is cutoff point for second appointment. It is completely, it is not tapering off zero, from. And so first appointment, when we used to go through the history, we used to see what is there in pattern, of smoking, which cigarettes are important for them and consistent. Like, for example, someone might smoke each time he has a meal, or as soon as he gets up, he would smoke. So there are certain routine that was created. And after this first appointment, would tell them that he can smoke during this week, even more than what he would normally smoke, but he should stop smoking that one cigarette. And we would suggest one specific cigarette. He shouldn't smoke one after lunch or something like that. And so at least for next 1 hour after lunch, he shouldn't be smoking. Sure. And when they would come next time, they already had confidence enough sign on their face. There was a sign of victory. They were able to do it. They were able to stop the cigarette after lunch. And that self-respect helped them, along with other things, to give up the whole lot, because they felt they can do it. And so our success rate was disproportionately higher than what normally seen at that time. And so that created another our new media publicity because of that. And it was a good learning for me how this aspect of self-respect and confidence, that was a very important factor in this. And this is a factor for all of us. We all have to overcome some of our dependencies. And one factor that can stop this is we underestimate ourselves. We feel we are not strong enough, we can't do it. It is Maya saying it, but Maya has got evidence. Maya can say why we can't do it. And
Could
here,
you just clarify? Do you just clarify what Maya is for those who have not heard the term before?
Yeah, of course. Maya is just our lower side, our lower nature. So something behind us, telling that no, you can't do it. You're weak. That is what broadly the Maya. And so here we were seeing that when there is that lack of confidence in oneself, superficially I tell him, no, you can do it. Yes, you can definitely. That by itself is not enough. He has got no evidence of that, what I'm telling him. It is absolutely true. What you are saying is true. But in him, he needs to be empowered to overcome this, his own lower nature, as was said, Maya, who is convincing him that he is weak. And some step of that kind, where he is having this hope. Yes, he has power, he has strength, he can do this, he can use his confidence and he can use his determination. This kind is a useful factor. Now I will come to the chemistry. What is happening in our body chemistry, brain chemistry, and let us see one chemical in our brain, and that chemical is called serotonin. Serotonin is one of the neurotransmitters. In our body, there are more than 100 neurotransmitters. Like dopamine, there are different, this huge, in play going on. These neurotransmitters act to transfer a message from one nerve to the other nerve. So they are mainly acting in the synapses. Given that we have got more than 100 billion synapses, these neurotransmitters are very active, and certain deficiency of some neurotransmitters, the messages don't go across, and it can lead to some of the neurological complaints and psychological complaints. What is seen with serotonin, those who have high level of serotonin, they have more confidence in themselves, that they have that inner fullness that we were talking earlier, and as a result, they perform better in ordinary things with confidence. They don't easily accept defeat. They can fight, they can carry on, and they may die, but they don't accept defeat. This kind of the serotonin has got that strength, inner strength. Churchill, during that Second World War time, when he could say, "We shall never surrender," we shall fight, we shall fight on the beaches and we shall fight on the streets. What we are seeing there is inner strength, that you don't easily accept defeat. So it is battle of wills, really, that was happening at that time. In a low serotonin, those who have lower levels of serotonin in the synapses, they tend to cry more easily, they tend to get angry more easily, they are less in control, and they are not those who will carry on with challenges. They can't. They would rather give up and lead a easy life. So that is like a lower serotonin pattern. Now, of course, we all would like a higher serotonin within our system. It is not something that we can just increase by eating certain kind of food or taking serotonin tablets. Of course, we shouldn't be deficient in certain proteins and certain factors in our system, but there are more the production of serotonin in the right place, in the right synapse. It has got other factors, and we will see this in some detail, how the serotonin level goes down and how we can raise it. As I said, this is a good game to know, and as we also said, this subject applies to 100% of the human race, and we all are vulnerable and already affected by this everywhere. Some psychologists call our society low serotonin society. Here we are seeing in a graph that shows the level of serotonin in our synapse. That line there represents level of serotonin. And let us say a person's level of serotonin is like this. And at this point, he smokes a cigarette. And what happens to the serotonin level? Serotonin level goes up. It doesn't remain up forever. It comes down after 2 hours. It starts to come down, but it comes below the starting point. Body has got something called feedback mechanism. So if the body has got too much sugar, the signal comes, there's too much sugar, and the right hormones, right chemicals are released to bring down the sugar. If body has got too much thyroid, signal goes. So that's why everything is kept within certain levels. There is an inner balancing mechanism. It is called feedback. So now artificially we raise the serotonin by smoking. So body stops releasing serotonin. Body stops producing. And that's why the level drops. 2 hours later, the body is not releasing serotonin. So level has dropped below the starting point. And he already feels bit low. Anyone who has smoked, you know this experience. You smoke, you feel good a little bit, you are in some company, but hour later, 2 hours later, you feel something is missing there. And this low serotonin, it may present itself with the feeling of missing something, lacking something, needing something. In other words, feelings of emptiness, inner emptiness. So this continues, low level serotonin continues for a while. Now he knows that his level is low, but he knows the answer. And the answer is to smoke another cigarette. And level goes up. And it doesn't go up forever. It comes down even lower than he started with. Now his friends cheer him up and give him another cigarette, and then its level comes even further down. I'm showing here diagrammatic representation. In essence, say 3 months down the line, his level remains lower as well as is shown here. And now when he smokes, he finds himself, it just comes back to normal. Sorry, I'll draw this again. So what we are seeing here is his resting level of serotonin is lower than normal. That green line was his normal serotonin level. And now most of the time he's at a lower level, serotonin. Here this has become his resting level. And when he smokes, he feels closer to normal. The rest of the time he's at a low level. This is like a this is exactly the way things happen in our body. This is what we call, dependency, low serotonin society, and low serotonin pattern. We know now why serotonin level drops. What is seen with cigarettes, this pattern of serotonin level gradually coming down, the same pattern is seen with chocolates, it is seen with coffee, it is seen with sugars. The same pattern is seen with people, humans becoming dependent on another human being at a deep level, at a serotonin level. If the children are away from the mother, they are happy, they are with the grandparents, they're happy, but mother can have low serotonin level. People become dependent on work, as was shown. They may go on holidays, can get depressed. Many people can get dependent on music. Some become dependent on noise. One can buy noise making machines. If you want, I can give you a website where you can get different kinds of noise making machines. People get dependent on violence. People get dependent on lust. Most of these are there. These dependencies are already there in the society. In the television and internet, that is, we know this certain percentage of population. This is such statistics some years ago. 7% of the population was addicted to internet. It must be much more now. And then there are other things, Facebook and other. That's why the statement used is society of addicts. Now, superficially, we may try to change it. For example, we might say, I give up, smoking, or I am sure I'm going to stop watching television. And absolutely, it is good. Then definitely worth experimenting with it, and it is positive. If someone does it, it's positive. But along with that, also think of the replacement. How are you going to use your time, and how are you going to feel this inner emptiness? Work at from that level rather than just removing things. Then it is more successful than a program. So you are saying, okay, I want to give up. Like giving example of cigarettes. One thing we were telling them, whenever you feel like smoking a cigarette, let there also be some pieces of some vegetable, something that you like, maybe in the pieces of carrots, melon, something around, on the table. So when you are feeling you want to smoke a cigarette, you are not going for cigarette during those weeks, but you are picking up a piece of carrot and chewing the piece of carrot, some little stripe. It is like just a replacement. And during that immediate phase, you want to do something, there shouldn't be vacuum there. You have not some time, you are not spending so much time going there shopping, and so you got some extra time. You need to introduce things like you have got things to read, you have things to write, your time is kept busy. There was too much time, the devil will use it. I like to encourage you, those who are interested, to come in the sound. You want means you can type your comments, but also encouragement is to come in the camera also. Feel free to share things, and like to have make it more interactive, this discussion. And anyone want to?
I think some of the listeners are identifying with the serotonin, very, very recognizable pattern. I particularly like this aspect of self-respect from the project you mentioned at the beginning with helping smokers that just start with the one cigarette that means a lot to you, and that being enough in the first instance to realize the power. Otherwise, we're so convinced the argument that we can't. We've created so it is just a sign to notice and observe one small victory, and then you get a momentum. And also the government at the moment, it's in the news about just taking example of smoking, not to say that they're demonizing this particularly, but they are trying. But this aspect of replacement feels really, really powerful for the self. I suppose the question comes, can we change serotonin levels through meditation? Is that something that can be in our hands?
Yes, we will be coming to that subject very soon. Just the word meditation by itself is one aspect. It is positive and certainly worth trying. But we will see the little more detail, the psychology behind it, and we'll come to this subject. We are especially placing emphasis on the word emptiness and fullness. So, on the one side, we don't want to create that feeling of emptiness. We want to experience fullness. I'm talking here inner fullness and an inner feeling of emptiness. We said emptiness will present itself with the feelings of I miss something, I lack something, I need something, I can lose something. These feelings, if they all contribute to this larger emptiness, empty feeling. And then we want to fill this emptiness, with different ways. And different people go, and we also said that if you just stop one thing, there is a possibility you will just replace it with something else. So to address this deeper emptiness, that is our real aim. There has to be inner fullness. For this whole spirituality, the subject of spirituality helps us understand this emptiness and fullness subject better. And when we use the word spirituality, what is it? We are just seeing the world more clearly, that's all. That, instead of incomplete picture, you are seeing things which you had missed. That is what spirituality is. So here we are seeing the world, our world, where we are going to spend our whole life, and we are seeing the bigger map. And when we see the big map, we see everything small. For example, if you see even your city, big map, then you realize your civil city is a little dot and on this map of the world. But you can see the borders and you can see which are the other cities, neighboring places. To see the map is a very, very useful thing for any traveler. We are travelers here and we need to see the map, know the map. And when we are seeing this big map of this world where we are going to spend our life, you see a few things very, very clearly and very relevant for us. One is this world is unpredictable. We realize that this world is temporary for us. Everything here has an end. And we know that this world is constantly changing. So far, so good. And that is the way that things are. Many things in this world are unpredictable. But what happens the moment we come in this world and we create attachments in this world, and we represent attachments by this spiral, we instantly get into the feeling of, I have got things to lose. I can lose things. That was the time there was no word my to displace. Now I use the word my, instantly I feel I am going to lose things. And this feeling that I can lose, it presents itself. It remains inside with the energy of emptiness. He feels empty. And because he feels empty, he says, I have to create more bondages. I need more of these things. So he gets himself in this reverse gear. He says, I need more money because I'm empty inside. He gets more and then he feels more empty. It is like the funny situation we find ourselves in. Since it is a universal, every person on the planet need to know this, that we are in this reverse gear. A typical example of this, and you will hear this statement from many people. I have heard from many people, but I'll give you one example. This person, he was around the age of 40, and he said to me, when he was 18 years of age, I wanted this, 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 this. He says, now I'm 40, I got more than what I was hoping to get. I got all that and I got more, and some things many times more. But he says, now I'm feeling empty. I'm feeling more empty compared to before. At that time, I was just life, success, and this is what I want to achieve. Now I got all, and I'm feeling empty. What is the reason behind this? So what has happened there? As from the age of 18 to the age of 40, all these years, success, 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 you are going further down the spiral. It is not the success means spiral, but you are parallel. You are saying that mine, this is mine, I like this. You are creating more and more bondages there in the unpredictable world. Unquestioned, this is the problem of this society. We have got no guard there, in a very innocently, fully, supported by the society. You are seen as a success. and then you are going in that direction. And the more you are down the spiral, more empty person is feeling. And then what can he do? If he got money, he got his biggest hat, and he got cakes. He got, or he can eat more cakes, but now he's feeling more empty. What can he do now? So he has to think of some other things, and maybe more dangerous things, more harmful things. This is the way our inner system works. And unfortunately, the whole world is in this reverse gear. I'm using the word reverse gear because they think it is a success. They are trying to achieve security there. And for security, they say, I need more gold, and I need more people around me who are nice to me. I need the home, safe place, and sorry, that was a sneeze. So I need more, of everything. If he wants to feel secure, is it wrong? I'm asking you, is it wrong to feel that I want to feel secure? I don't want to live my life insecure. So I need more gold, I want more money and more cakes, and that will make me secure. Is it wrong? Isn't it right to think that way?
And it's written only if it creates dependency that it's wrong.
But right now, should I, if I have a better job, it makes me feel secure. If I have more gold, it makes me feel secure. And some nice people around me makes me feel secure. Is it wrong?
Ordinarily, it appears very, very normal, but seeing it in this stark model, it appears it's in the wrong direction.
So let us see the same word again. And what we are saying here, there, in that what we saw, nothing is wrong, to have great job, to have great people around. Why not? Gold, nice to have more gold and money. But let me see the bigger map. That is the most important. And when I see the bigger map, I am understanding that that whole box is insecure. Let me not forget that everything there is unpredictable. People who are saying, "Oh, I love you, and you're so, my life is for you," they can disappear, and they're, even if they are there, their ideas can be totally different. That is the way the world is. The banks can disappear, and your gold can disappear, and cake, someone might eat the cake before it reaches you. You have to be prepared for the unexpected with that box. So if you are looking for security, don't rely upon that box for security. The bigger reason is, more you become dependent on those things for your security, more insecure you will feel. As was said right at the beginning, with the first bondage there, then only you felt empty. You didn't feel empty when there was no bondage there. In the moment you create bondage there, you get into the feeling that you can lose it. It is the unfortunate thing. Only when you create a bondage, then you felt you could lose. So if you go into that box, feeling that this is what is going to make me secure, I got this now. Deal with that as a trustee. It is a temporary game you are playing. You trust it. Be aware that banks can disappear and the people can disappear. You are prepared for that. And are you still secure? Get your security not based upon that world. In fact, we want security, from freedom. We said we start from security. Only after the first bondage, he starts to feel empty and he starts to feel he can lose. So here we are showing in a 1 minute, you are reminding, creating this full clarity in yourselves. And this 1 minute, we all can create. And let's say it is possible someone may have some situations, there may be dependency on food, or it can be cigarettes, but it can be television, and you want to become free from it. That's great, and whatever you are trying, definitely continue to give it a good attempt and go with that. But along with that, introduce this method where you are seeing yourself as a guest in this world. And being a guest in this world, 1 minute you are seeing this guest in this world, invisible guest in this world. And being a guest, you understand very clearly your exit, guaranteed exit, your temporary relationship with that whole thing of the physical world, including the body. Temporary relationship. Whole thing is unpredictable. It can go any second. You are seeing that. You are not approaching that world with blind spots. And now you are experiencing the security from beyond. You are feeling secure. We said original security. Original security. We lost it only when we create first bondage. Then I felt I can lose, and then it puts me in that spiral, downward spiral. Here, for 1 minute, we are coming back to that original experience of security, and security comes with fullness, feeling of fullness. Very, very interesting. Everyone in this world want to experience feeling of fulfillment. But when we are in that box, in that with the downward spiral, no one can experience fulfillment. There is this emptiness that is going on. During this minute, you are seeing yourself fully. We will, of course, uh, experiment with it and we'll try what it is. We'll try to get it, but it will continue to get refined. 1 minute is great, but bring quality during that minute, and you will get that feel that you are passing through this box. I'm using the word box because then I am really seeing the big map. If I don't see that way, I get so impressed with this world that I can't see myself free from it. So here you are seeing the big map and you are understanding, you are just passing through this. You are a guest invisible guest in this world. You are experiencing that original security. And original security, this brings that strength, inner strength. You are experiencing the peace of the soul, peace of the Atma. And this security, deep security, it is not a security coming from gold, as was said before, that actually makes you more empty, those kind of attainments. But here you are coming in clarity. Your security is based upon truth, based upon freedom, and it makes you free, makes you experience that inner fulfillment. No one else gets it. Even those who get gold and cakes, they don't experience this fulfillment, because in that case there is underneath other empty feelings are coming in. Whereas here you experience that fulfillment, and it becomes fun. And once you experience this, then you don't forget. You understood a secret of experiencing something very, very high without spending a penny. When something is free, it has got another kind of happiness. So here you will find you can go for this experience for 1 minute, and you want to come back to that experience again. And so this becomes like a naturally a positive spiral. This positive spiral continues to feed this higher consciousness within us. It will continue to make it stronger. And in this consciousness, there is fullness. We said that right at the beginning, that has to be addressed. The real cause of our society, the way the society is going, and dependencies that we create, addictions that we create, causes inner emptiness. We try many things, and that is good. No question about it. Whatever that works, put it into practice, and definitely try. But along with that, introduce this program of making the soul strong. Discover that inner fullness. Discover this method of coming up the spiral. As this you are coming up the spiral, it will reflect with the serotonin level. It is 100% connected. If those who want to study this, they will be able to see this pattern. As people go down the spiral, that is what will reflect with serotonin going down. We said serotonin cannot be raised just by changing the diet or taking tablets. They can temporarily push it, but it can go into another dependency on certain medications or something like this. But here, there are deeper reasons why the serotonin level is lower, and there are deeper reasons how we can raise it. You get your perspective right, and when you get the perspective right, you are going up the spiral. You go up the serotonin ladder also. But this change, this is a deeper change. It will reflect at all levels in your life also. As you are coming up, it will reflect. Your clarity will also go up, your richness of emotions, richness of the heart, but also outer life, whether it is health or every aspect. That is a bonus. But you are becoming stronger inside. It will be nice for me to hear your thoughts and any comments, questions.
Great to hear in the chat what has come up for you. And just to share here, meanwhile, I noticed that coming to spiritual principles, it challenged this idea that there was some kind of intrinsic emptiness, which is unquestioned. It's almost, you feel you lack something in life, or you want to fulfill a certain relationship, or maybe the story of the life is not ideal and you want to rectify something. But the notion of the shift of consciousness to experience, and you put the word guest, I think that addresses that self-respect also, in the connection with feeling full, that you are intrinsically complete in some way, that you don't need someone, something to complete you. These are just words, but the deep feeling of being whole is not something that we're ordinarily experiencing in the world through what we are told that you always have to achieve. And then there's a kind of basic premise: I have to be someone and become someone. So it feels ironic in a way. We're often looking for that liberating feeling through the external, the things which we can get addicted to. Yet this guest view is liberating. But it would be good to hear, for those who are hearing these ideas, and they're very, very new, that idea that it is in boxes, unpredictable, it is insecure. Even the word guest might feel another kind of insecure, like, well, who am I? Where am I? Would you like to say anything to help address that feeling? Because something inside, when we feel grounded, then we can kind of handle things. So if it makes sense, the question.
Yeah. Yes, that they're very true. What really happens is, when we were first, for example, when we talked about original experience, he was guest that time, but there was no insecurity. Insecurity started only after he creates the bondage. But further down the bondage, he gives birth to the ego. He's in bondage there, and he gives birth to the ego that is based on the world outside. And now, when you are seeing yourself as a guest, this ego within you may feel insecure, because ego is fully based upon the gold there and the cakes there and the position there. That is what the ego is based on. And you suddenly say, I'm a guest. He says, what about, my whole security is based upon this gold and my position and these people, nice people, and you suddenly tell me I'm a guest, none of this is mine. So he feels insecure. But ego, this, we are talking about false ego, it is embodiment of bondage, and its origin is ignorance. It is based on ignorance. So here he is finding himself in this state where he is suddenly losing his ground. Ego is losing the ground. But you don't have to worry about this. You continue to create these minutes and minutes, continue to nourish the guest perspective. And what will happen? This ego will become smaller. Ego will continue to shrink. When you bring clarity in the environment of clarity, ego cannot survive. Ego, that false ego, can be there only in the environment of darkness. You need that ignorance. That this box is my world forever. This kind of let us have a party, plan Christmas. So then that is the life of the ego, and you are bringing this clarity. You are seeing the bigger map. You are seeing the obvious. We are not from here. In that environment, ego shrinks. And as ego shrinks, that insecurity will also disappear very, very quickly. It is not a long process. This feeling may come, but you 1 day, 2 day, 3, then they say it is not there anymore.
Thank you. And I know there's a great depth of understanding that needs to also be investigated for this journey. But to get the principle at this stage is very good, because it kind of personifies this area that does feel insecure, but this complement to any freedom to actually step into that mind that exists already. We're not creating it. Now there's a question here. It's very clear model and there's thanks. However, the challenge still remains when the one who really needs to change is not willing to admit the deep issues that need addressing. How can we support these individuals?
1 minute, and this is the starting process for us. Everything starts in a small way. Someone who is not interested, but he is happy to hear things for 1 minute. And also you can ask him a question: are we guests? And do you think we are guests on this? Let him reflect on it. And show him some quotes by some famous people who say we are guests. Do we have, what is the cause of our emptiness inside? Let them reflect on it. And all of this creates light. It leads to more clarity. We were saying earlier, in this ignorance, unquestioned, people are just going through this like zombies. They don't even question. And that totally favors the lower lower consciousness. That totally favors the downward spiral. You know, unquestioned life. You know, eh, is what we are questioning. Socrates spent most of his life asking people to question their beliefs, question their ideas, question. And so all of this leads to a new energy, inside. They feel happy to think in a new way.
And I
Sorry.
suppose the difference here, thank you. It's very clear. And I think we need a new approach, because we've all probably had experiences of trying to help others, but it doesn't necessarily bear fruit. And I think often it's because our own dependency on the other inhibits, because it's actually my need quite often that they should be different for my peace, love, happiness. So when we're not experiencing the sorrow because they are in sorrow, we are sort of in a more stable place with a more well-wish, with a high vision that actually everyone has extraordinary greatness, and you're kind of promoting that side. But it's not from a kind of I'm all right and I'm helping you, because I think that's what often we resist that. So I think the spiritual model of all being guests, and we're kind of more on the equal there, and the questioning coming from that energy. Yeah. So there was just a comment of sharing here of someone's experiences of being finding it difficult to overcome bad habits, and it would lead to comfort eating, television, addiction, and but they're finding it's easier to recognize it can still be challenging to be the true self, but they're on it. It's like a process. So we've kind of come to time, and if there's anything final you would like to add, and then also some meditation would be great.
Just want to underline a minute of inner fullness just to create this time. We saw how to get this, experience it. It doesn't mean just 1 minute, but introduce this many times, and not to underestimate this 1 minute, 1 minute. And those who pay attention to penny, they collect pounds. Those who waste penny, they lose pounds. So here you got this formula. 1 minute. You congratulate yourself for creating that 1 minute. Just bring quality to that minute. It is not just a minute of silence, not just a minute of some prayer. No, it is not that way. Not just a meditation. Earlier the question was not just many practices, they all have benefits. But here the emphasis is in that you are experiencing being beyond and experiencing the fullness. Today's word was guest, and we will have more opportunities in this, the program of titled addiction. We will be approaching this subject from other angles, build on this, but the word today is fullness from beyond. Sure, let us create a few minutes of experience based on this, what we heard. We remind our experience when we were guests, any place. And what was the experience? Guests are always carefree. That is that little feeling of guest being free and carefree. Guests are always secure. They got nothing to lose. They own nothing, they lose nothing. We remind ourselves that we are guests on this planet. We are seeing the whole thing in a new way, completely new way. We are guests on this planet. We have a guaranteed exit. And during this minute, we create this clarity. Since we are guests, we don't own anything on this planet. We don't own land, property. Truth is, don't own. No bondage within this box. And we realize we have got nothing to lose. We remind ourselves that we don't own anyone else. We're guests here. And so we understand we don't lose anyone. We remind ourselves that we don't own a single atom on this planet. Come to this feeling. Understand what it means. We don't own a single atom on this planet. And we realize that we got nothing to lose. And instantly we feel every moment is a gift. And this experience is a gift. And this body appears like a gift. Feeling of appreciation comes. Feelings of amazement and wonder come. We experience the lightness of a guest. We experience the security of the guest. We experience the freedom of a guest. We also experience the fullness of a guest. That's why there is appreciation and amazement and wonder. He knows he got nothing to lose. That's why very secure, carefree. Positive feelings of a tourist. Feelings of a guest. We are one step closer to that original experience. As we continue on our journey, we remember to come back to this space, come back to this secret about ourselves. And discover this inner richness that is there to experience and explore.
Thank you for sharing some of that richness and experience that is so vivid and so simple. And we just need a little time to explore it and reawaken that intrinsic fullness and security. We will be putting on a retreat soon, and details are in the chat, and also recording link and a guest meditation, and there are more on the YouTube channel. Just it's enough, some of the ideas for our own practice. So we really wish everyone well on this, and it is a journey, so community, like-minded individuals to help support. So good luck, enjoy, and we'll meet again, and thank you. See you next time.